All right, well, today in the shop, it's kind of time to get started preparing for next race season. Um, I'm probably really late actually. This is kind of the norm for me. So, what do we got going on this winter? So, we've been running the dragster for about 2 years now, and it's been going pretty well. We did have a little engine trouble last year, got that fixed up, so the dragster doesn't need a lot. It's in pretty good shape. But what we do have is two teenage daughters who have both graduated out of juniors, and they want something to run. So what are we gonna do? Well, this has been sitting here for close to 2 years and had a well-deserved break. So it's time to do something with this car. Yeah, this is the older. Hard to believe this car's about 22 years old now, if I had to guess. Close to 21 years old. We've been running it a long time. Built this car for my wife, and we've had an absolute ball with it. Probably did way more with it than we ever should have. Tried to run top eliminator with it there the last couple years, and we just weren't quite getting there. Got it down to about a 312, and it was starting to push it. I think everybody understands what Aldards are like, and so yeah, we're gonna decide to go with the dragster. So it's been sitting here. Weren't exactly sure what plans we had for it. I've been kind of wanting to drive it myself, get it out, maybe do some bracket racing with it. But both the girls decided that this is something they'd like to drive. So we're gonna put it together either way this winter. So what are we gonna do? So dug this out of the corner. It's been sitting for, I think about 3 seasons now. This engine's not very many runs on it, but we're gonna put this engine in. It's 358, 18 degree small block, so it's a little small, pretty small engine. It is topped off with, if you can imagine, kind of one of the flying toilet style injectors, not an actual Ron's, but these were made by a friend of mine way back in the day, if you can believe it or not. This was a Christmas gift that I got when I was 18 years old, so this thing's been around quite a while now. So it's always been really good to me. I know they get kind of a bad rap these days in the bracket racing world, but I still like it. I think it still works good, and we're going to stick with it because it's what I know. So got a little bit of work to do here. We got to swap this engine over into the Aldred. It doesn't take much. We did not strip a lot off the Aldred when we had to switch over to the dragster. Pretty much everything is there, but the first thing I realized I was missing was a flex plate. So at some point along the line, I've robbed the flex plate off of this, probably put it on the other engine, and use that. So unfortunately, I don't have one, so we're gonna have to wait a couple days before we hook the transmission up and slap this down in the car. But yeah, so pretty much what we got here, and I've actually kind of started on my little whiteboard here of things that we need to do. So got to put that little motor in. We're gonna need some new super scoops. We're gonna go with some 3317-16s with 16 super scoops for this engine. To tell you the truth, they're already sitting over here on the floor. I've had them for about 3 or 4 months now. We're going to plummet battery. I did rob the battery out of this car and put in the other one, but I don't think I'm going to put another lithium battery back in this car. It doesn't really need to save that much weight, and I don't want to spend another $1,000 on a battery. So it's going to get some sort of 16 volt flex plate. I already covered that, and a crank trigger. We are missing the crank trigger pickup off of this. So a few odds and ends to order, and we should be good to go and ready to swap this in. All right, so we got the body off. You saw that, obviously just an aluminum dragster body. I These were popular here in the Midwest. We actually did those years ago with my first car, and they became really, really popular. So when you see those cars out of the Midwest area running those aluminum dragster style bodies on Aldards, you have me and my brother to thank. But anyway, I'll just kind of go over the car a little bit if you're not familiar with it. It's a 135-inch wheelbase or 130-inch wheelbase. It's been so long I can't remember. All chrome moly, TIG welded. It's an Ellington Chassis Works car, obviously. And again, it like I said, it's about 22 years old. It was front halved. I think it's been 12 or 13 years ago. We broke a wheelie bar, wheel stood the car straight up, bent the chassis, so it has been front halved. I did that, like I said, 12 or 13 years ago. But again, I'll just kind of walk over it. And again, you know, we were kind of getting to the point where the car was, you know, it's starting to show its age. You can see, I mean, the wiring's a little messy. Obviously, it's a little dirty. The car's had lots of passes on it. But again, it's not a bad car. It's actually treated us really well. Lots of wins with it, lots of fun with it. But like I said, it's about 100, I think it's 130-inch wheelbase. Bit of an oddball. It's got a Dana 60 rear end in it. Mainly the only reason was because my wife had it when we built the car. It's 4-linked, AFCO coilovers. So actually a very simple car. We try to do these Aldards quite simply, make them simple, easy to work on. I like this car. It's always been very easy to work on. But again, yeah, we'll clean a few things up as we go along here. What we've got set up with was the last time we ran the car, we were running our nitrous system and enriching it with C23. So the car's normally injected on alcohol, but we got this little small 1-gallon fuel cell that we were hitting it with C23 with the nitrous. All that's gonna go away probably. I don't plan on running nitrous on this car again, even though that engine's got a nice little plate kit on it. I think we'll probably just go ahead and take that off. It's got a small radiator in it. It's actually one of those derail transmission coolers. It worked fine for what we were doing with it, but I don't think it's gonna be good enough to be like a normal bracket car to go around a lot of rounds in a row. So I might put a bigger radiator in it. I have one upstairs for it, but I think I'm gonna get something a little bit different that I like, that I've seen recently. So, but everything else I'm just gonna get a stick with. It all works. You know, all the gauges are good. Albeit kind of old, it's all old painless stuff and things like that. It does have the digital 7 MSD box in it. That's still fine, I think. I hope. Hopefully 2-year vacation didn't screw that up. I guess we'll find that out. But yeah, this is pretty much it. And again, shouldn't take long. We'll yank the motor plate out, get it on the car, on the back of the engine, get transmission in, and start getting everything set up. All right, well, I thought about this a little bit, getting this engine in this car, and I told you earlier I didn't have a flex plate. I went upstairs, looked through my storage pile, and I found one, but the teeth were all kind of nasty on it, so that's one that's no longer any good. So I am going to order a new one. But then I looked at the car a little bit. The mid plate is still in, the ignition box is still wired in, everything's hooked to that mid plate with things running through it. So we can just drop the engine in without the transmission. Probably be easier, and then we'll just put the transmission up in it later. So I think that's what we're gonna do. So yeah, I pulled the injection off of it and pulled that nitrous plate off of it. If you're looking for a nitrous plate, hit me up. I think I'll go ahead and sell that. So yeah, it's gonna be, I didn't wanna take all this out, undo all these wires, and do all this mess. So we'll just do it, and then we'll, I actually have a small little transmission jack with a removable cross member. So we'll just pop the transmission up from underneath once we get the flex plate here and get a converter on the transmission. So let's do that now. Okay, as you saw, I got the engine all dropped in. Fits pretty good. It's actually pretty simple. One of the reasons I like working on these Aldards and dragsters is they go together fairly simply. I am by no means a skilled technician. So just a simple drop in. Of course, there's still a lot of accessories to go on. I got to get the fuel injection back on, got to plumb it, got to put a vacuum pump on it. When I was hunting around for parts, I also realized I am missing the starter. So I'll have to find a starter, get that flex plate ordered up, and we can get the transmission in later. But again, that's pretty much it for today, what I wanted to get done. So I appreciate you tuning in. If you like what you saw, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm going to continue to do this kind of content, kind of share with you what we've been working on here in the shop, as well as keeping you up to date with what's going on in the sand drag world and sharing some videos. Thanks again for watching.